Welcome to the Bothering Strangers podcast. My guest today is NFL player Shakial Taylor. He is on the New York Giants, but he is currently not playing this season because he opted out on the COVID list. Shaq, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just chilling. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So let's just get right to it here. You are not a whole lot of players opted out this season. Only 3 or 4 on your team did. So why did you choose to opt out for COVID reasons?
First of all, it was a hard decision to make. It was very personal. I had to talk with my agent, my family about it. But the reason it came down to my family members, like 5 of my family members having it, and my grandmother passed away from it. So it kind of hit close to home. And me dealing with severe asthma, I feel like it had a chance to affect me in a pretty hard way. So I chose to make that decision, to opt out this year. And you know, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm working out, grinding, just putting in the work, putting the time to make sure I'm ready when it's time to go next year, come back whenever. So,
Do you feel like it's harder now working out because now you're in Florida, you're working out by yourself with a trainer maybe, but it's like if it were a regular season, you'd be working out with your teammates. Do you feel like it's harder to work out as hard by yourself?
at first, it kind of was like it was hard because I had so much time on my hands, but really, I'm really on the same schedule. I'm so programmed, to playing football around this year that I wake up early, uh, I work out, I'm on a eating routine, meal prep. I can't really watch film like that because I don't have my iPad, but I try to watch what I can. But I mean, with all the time on my hands, I've just been trying to learn new things, and use my time wisely, to to really replace that time that if I was in the NFL, what I'd be doing, I'd be in meetings, practice, So I'm really trying to stay in the groove of everything for when I get back to doing those daily activities in the NFL.
We were talking right before we started this. You've been getting into investments and other stuff this season. So
Yeah.
do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So with the time that I have, I really spent time learning about investing. I first got into it. Me and a close friend of mine, he's also in the NFL. In the off season, when I was training, I was staying in Airbnbs for like 5 months, just training, state to state, and I was spending a lot of money. So I'm like, man, how can I, instead of me giving other people my money, how can I capitalize off of Airbnb or whether it's whatever I was doing. So I started heavily researching how I can get into the Airbnb business, and it kind of was like I kind of was stuck because at the time it was like the end of July, and we had to report to training camp. So I'm like, dang, I'm not gonna have enough time to get into the Airbnb business or whatever. But I took a risk, and I was gonna just have one of my family members running it for me, cleaning everything, making sure everything's going well while I'm gone. And I mean, I so happened to opt out. Now I have time to really learn about not even just Airbnb like real estate investing, but investing in general, stock market, trucking, you know, vending machine. It's so many things you can invest in, but I'm just spending my time learning new things that I can invest in and have multiple sources of income, passive income coming in, versus watching TV all day, watching Netflix all day or playing the game. Like I don't even play the game anymore, which is it's crazy. I used to play the game like every day, but
Yeah.
I haven't played in like 3 months. So I mean, it's worth it. It'll set me up, in the long run. It'll separate me, in the long run.
I feel like the problem with watching TV, or were you talking about Madden? Or
I played Madden, 2K, Fortnite.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
Call
So
of Duty.
It's like the problem with like watching TV or like playing video games is like time slips away so fast when you're
So
doing
fast, man. So fast.
like one
Like
Fortnite game takes like 20 minutes.
exactly. That's like Madden. One Madden game take like 30,
Oh,
45
it
minutes.
takes a while. Yeah. So you're like, oh, I'll play for 30 minutes and then like you check your phone. It's like, oh, it's been 3 hours. All right, I should
Exactly.
really
Like
stop now.
even with like binge watching shows on Netflix, like
Oh, same thing. Same
I
thing.
had to really like think about like, dang, like how am I utilizing my time? Like what can I do to separate myself and I guess learn new things, that I guess the average person wouldn't want to learn. But I've learned that like the average person complain about a lot of things, but they don't put the time in to, know how to better those situations. So I kind of told myself that, with all this time I have, I'm gonna learn those things that not the average person may know or want to learn.
Did you have well, you've been on the Colts, the Broncos, and the Giants. Were there any financial advisors like on those teams, or did they like help like hook you up with any financial advisors to kind of help you out, or is that
Well,
nothing?
in the NFL, as a rookie, you it's this thing called Rookie Academy. You go there like once a week, and they bring in different people to come and speak to you about. It could be like finances, credit, business ideas, and everything. But I didn't have a financial advisor my whole last year. I just got a financial advisor in March. However, I just kind of cut ties with him. I didn't really cut ties with him, but I said we can like keep the relationship, friendship going. But as far as like everything else, I can do it on my own. Cause I mean, before I got him, I was already budgeting. Uh, I already had a CPA to do my taxes, and I really needed to know about stocks and bonds. So when I first got with him, we'll go over that, break it down or whatever, stocks and bonds. He was explaining to me about it, but I didn't really. It kind of was going in one ear, not the other. Like I retained some of the knowledge, and some of it, it was like, okay, yeah. But now I got the time to really. Well, in the off season, it was an extended off season because of COVID.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the off season, I just decided to, just start learning about it. Like, just put my time towards that, and it's been, I opted out, so I have a lot of time now. So I really learned a lot about it. So I told him, hey, we could keep the relationship going. We cool, we could be friends or whatever, but I don't really need your services. We can help each other, whatever the case may be. But far as like, making my stock portfolios or whatever, I can handle that on my own, basically.
Dang, you know more than most, but I don't know anything about
Man,
that.
that's it's not even hard. That's the crazy thing.
I know. I'm like the people you were talking about, where it's like I
Yeah,
just don't want to learn it, and like
yeah,
it's definitely like we're around the same age, and it's like
yeah.
we should everyone our age should have some knowledge of it.
Yeah. See, I regret like because I took business classes in college. I took marketing. I took I think finance. I took statistics, and it broke down like balance sheets, like earnings, income. Like
I remember that too.
the crazy thing is like dealing with stocks and stuff. Like it's they try to speak it in a different language, but it's basically like profit coming in, like taxes, like capital gains, like taxes. It's they try to speak in a different language to really
Yeah,
throw you off. Like, but
it's the
it's
terminology. The terminology is what throws you off.
yeah, yeah. But it's easy. It ain't really too hard. You just gotta be willing to invest your time into learning about it. But I
Yeah.
mean, for sure, in the long run, though, it'll separate you. Like, hey, because I mean, we spend a lot of money on these products, like Apple products. What Pepsi products, food. Shoes and clothes like Nike. Why not like want to own a percentage of that company instead of you keep giving them your money, have them give you some money back. Like a couple companies they pay dividends like to their shareholders. So it's a lot, but it's not too hard. Like once you put the time into
Yeah.
learning it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you put like, yeah, I feel like, if someone puts like an hour a day in, 2 weeks later, it's like They're gonna be
That,
there.
that's how I was. Like
Yeah.
first starting off, it was like an hour a day. It was me and my close friend. Every day we'll just throw out business ideas because we always been different. Like we wanted to stand out from the crowd. And being undrafted, your future like uncertain. So we didn't want to just depend on football as one income because you never know when it could be our last time playing. So we figured, hey, we might as well learn how to do something.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I should have mentioned this earlier in the podcast, but Shaq and I went to the same college, University of Kansas. We have the same major and the
Uh,
same minor. And
Crazy.
and when did you graduate? You had one class of when did you graduate?
2018. I mean
2018?
2019.
2019. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and I graduated just a couple
2019.
months ago, 1 year later. So that's like just I think I should have said earlier, but I feel like because it's like you were talking about being undrafted, but it's also like talk about like how it's like to the average fan, like we think that all these football players, basketball players, baseball players have all this money, but it's like it's like we don't know how people spend their money, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you may have a lot of money, but you invested poorly or you overspent. But it's also like taxes take so much of it. So just talk about that for a little bit.
I don't know how any other sport is taxed, but I know for sure football, if you whatever number the public sees, cut that in half. Like divide that by two.
Yeah.
Because that's how much the athlete gonna really see. And being undrafted, none of your money is guaranteed. So
No.
you could get really in the NFL, none of your money is guaranteed. Only thing guaranteed is your signing bonus. You could get cut any day, and your money gone like that. But yeah, it's a lot of we in the highest tax bracket, so you're gonna get taxed, and you pay taxes in every state that you play in. So
Three
whatever
states for
team,
you.
huh?
3 states for you then.
Yeah, well, yeah, but every whatever. So say you play for the well, if you're in Florida and in Texas, it's no state taxes, so you send a lot of your money. But say if you travel to California to play a game, yeah, your check gonna be.
Wait, is it like if you're playing? Well, it's like you're on the Giants. Let's say you're playing this year. The Giants go to play the Rams in LA. Is
Yeah, you
that game check from that week taxed as a
yeah
California?
yeah
I
because
didn't know that.
you get taxed for New York and you will get taxed for LA.
Well, not. I mean, but which one would it be though?
Both. You gotta pay New York state taxes and you gotta pay California state taxes.
Oh my, that's a lot of tax. Yeah, that's because like that's what a couple years ago, like when Joey Bosa on the LA Chargers, top defensive player in the NFL, like when he was drafted, he held out from coming to training camp of the Chargers, and everyone thought it was because he like didn't want to play for them or something. It was just because he was from Florida and was trying to get residency in Florida, so he would get taxed less, which you can't do. But it
And
was only because of taxes.
I see if you would have went to a Florida team, he would have seen, you know, more money than if he would have it was in LA. But on the up as an upside though, your taxes is you get a good amount from taxes whenever you get your tax refund.
Yeah,
You get the amount, yeah. So
you play it right, you can get a lot back.
yeah. But I mean it's just receiving that like dang, like where did all this money go? But hey, that's what come with it.
Did you have this moment when you got like your first check from, I guess that'd be the Colts, your first team, and you were like, I thought I was gonna make twice this much?
Uh, and OTAs. So and OTAs basically spring camp or whatever. I think the rookies were getting paid like I think it was $50 a day. It maybe was like $50 a day. And
That's
then
it?
yeah,
Okay.
I think it was $50 a day or $100 a day. And OTAs is only like 4 days a week.
Okay, not a lot of money.
Yeah. So I mean that was one, but I wasn't really tripping. Training camp. A moment that really shocked me is when training camp. I think I forgot how much we was getting paid. It wasn't that much. Maybe it was like 1,000 after taxes, like 1,000 a week or something after taxes, and we went and played the Bills. We played a preseason game. My second preseason game, I think, was at the Bills, and we played them. And it was me and a couple other my rookie teammates. And when we got our checks, the checks was like $250. It was like it was like $300. So we were like, dang, like we reading, you get your direct deposit, you reading the check stub, and you seeing where all your money going. And we paid New York so much money.
Yeah, because you're on the Colts, so you're in so Indiana. Then you go to play the Bills in New York, so you got to pay Indiana and New York.
Yeah, but see, in Indiana tax is really not even that high. But
Yes, New York's are
New
high.
York tax does a lot. It was on that check and then the next check from the next game. And New York taxes was on that check too.
Wow,
Yeah.
and that's how they get you.
Yeah, it was like, dang, bro. We didn't really know, but we found out quick.
Oh yeah, it's like a rude awakening.
Yeah,
Like, oh man, I really got to save money now.
yeah, and that's I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's a stigma that a lot of athletes go broke. But I feel like if you live below your means and you're not just spending your money doing everything, trying to follow the crowd, keep up with the Joneses, you'll be straight. Like, but I guess that's why a lot of people get financial advisors because
Yeah,
athletes don't really have to have the time to learn about financial literacy, but
it's
you could
important.
you could find the time. But hey, I'm not knocking no financial advisors.
Plain and safe. Do you feel like just with like getting those first checks and be like, oh, I made so much less that when you were like or sorry, do you feel like with your rookie teammates when you were on the Indianapolis Colts, you're a rookie and you're undrafted, you're fighting for a spot, you're making like not very much a week, but then you have like the first round pick that the Colts picked that year, who I can't remember off the top of my head, who has all this money. Do you feel like those guys are overspending?
Nah, see, I got my close homeboy. Shout out, his name Rock. He was their first pick. He was picked in the second round. He actually one of the. I'm not gonna say cheap. He's like one of the most frugal dudes. Like he doesn't spend a lot of money, but he was their first pick. Which it was shocking to me because I'm like, dang, like you got all this money,
Yeah,
but
disposable income.
yeah, it's smart though. He brought to my attention like I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know. He gonna have money for a long time. He's gonna be wealthy for a long time. But no, I didn't really know anybody that did anything crazy, like nothing out of the ordinary. Nah, the group of guys I was around, I feel like they was smart with their money. Um, yeah, I think my first check I got from them, I paid off my debt. I paid off, I think, my credit cards. I had bills like because during training camp, you only getting paid so much, but you still got to pay bills. So once I received my first game check, which was a decent amount of money, I paid off all my debt that I owe, throughout college or whatever.
Did you have student loans? Because you went South Dakota State for a year, full ride at South Dakota State. Then you went to Mesa Community College for one season. Then you went to the University of Kansas for your last two. Did you have student loans from
Yeah,
college?
yeah, I had I had student loans from Mesa. So Mesa Community College, it was a community college in Arizona where you had to pay for you had to pay for food and housing.
Yeah.
So during that time, I was getting financial aid. So, but I had to use some of that towards my books and stuff, I believe. But I had ended up taking out a loan so I could have a place to stay and food. So yeah, I took out a loan. It wasn't that much though. It probably was like I think like 7,000. It wasn't too bad.
But like if you let it sit there and it's like the interest racks up on it.
See how it was though. The interest on that didn't start until I want to say this year.
Oh wow, it's good.
Yeah,
It's good
so
money.
I think it was like 4 years on it, so it didn't start till this year. and I ended up paying it. I paid some of it when I got my first check, and then the end of the year, I paid it all off. Just swiped it. Yeah, and I actually had another thing. I was in debt. Man, a car when I got my first car when I was at Kansas. So I ain't really had no credit like that. But you know, the dealership and everything, they're not gonna tell you, you know.
They'll screw you over.
Yeah, so that was when I had to get out of my car situation and get into a better one. Now that, you know, my credit was established, I got great credit now. And that was one thing I had to pay off to get out of that situation.
Did you I didn't know this until recently, but it's like in Arizona, if you play sports at a community college in California, they don't give scholarships either.
Yeah. See how the conference I was in though, so I was in like Arizona, Western and Eastern Arizona. Like it was schools that they give out scholarships. Like you stay in a dorm, and it's like a little college basically. But the one I was at, we didn't have none of
Okay,
that.
gotcha. Okay.
You had to, you know, hey, you on your own.
Okay. I didn't realize it like that. Just kind of a pivot here. I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast a few years ago, and they had Arian Foster, who used to be the running back in the Houston Texans, talking about how like the fans don't realize how many surgeries college and NFL players have to get like in the
Yeah.
off season, even if like they didn't injure something, just to, like recover something. Is that true? Like, is that a thing where it's like so many dudes, like even if they had a healthy season, they still have to like get a surgery just to fix something up?
Yeah, so I mean, luckily I haven't really had a lot of severe injuries like that. But that happened to me when I got to Kansas. Matter of fact, coming in from JUCO, I had a torn labrum, but I didn't know. You know, I played on it and everything. My first year, my first month at Kansas, I think we was doing physicals, and I had to get an MRI on my shoulder, and it ended up being torn. So I had to get surgery on my torn labrum. I had to repair it, and I couldn't do spring. I couldn't do spring ball my first year there. So I had to sit out for I think like 5 months. It was the worst thing ever too. Like a shoulder injury, man, you can't do anything. Like I realize how much you need your shoulder to do a
It's
lot of
everything.
actions, like everything.
It's
Like
all body movement runs through there.
yeah, and then I had the little, not the cast, but the big sling thing,
Yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
you gotta sleep with it on, so you gotta sleep like upright. You gotta sleep like you sitting in a chair. Like
That
you,
that just sounds uncomfortable.
man. I was at Towers, Jayhawk Towers.
I lived there too.
Yeah, I was there in 2017, but
Not that year.
man, I couldn't even. You can't sleep on your side or it'll hurt. You can't sleep on your back; it'll hurt. Like, it was. That's probably the worst pain that I ever really felt. Like
What tower? What years did you live in the Jayhawker towers?
2017. I moved out after
Okay,
spring.
all right. We
Man,
didn't overlap. Just so everyone knows, the Jayhawker towers are like these on-campus apartments at KU, the University of Kansas, and like a lot of football players live there. And
yeah,
it's not the best. It's like it's not the best place to live.
yeah, you save a lot of money though,
You
but
do. You saved. Yeah, I lived there for 2 years or 3 semesters, and I definitely saved a lot of money. Your uncle Robert, does he have like a big influence on you or?
yeah. So a lot of a lot of people do know, but a lot of people may not know who my uncle Robert Nelson is. He really the reason that I'm kind of at where I'm at. He took me under his wing. Well, ever since we was young, like, he's like a big brother to me. He only 6 years older than me, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's like a big brother. So ever since we was young, you know, he'll always just push me, you know, to because he was a multi-sport athlete. He played everything. Even when I was young, like he'll have me doing training things, you know, walking to practice with him, cutting grass with him. Uh, but he had took me on his wing when I chose to move to Arizona with him. So I really wasn't on the right path at home or whatever. So a lot of things, happened. It's actually an articles on it when he first got into the NFL because he was undrafted. We kind of was in the same situation.
Sounds like it. Sounds like
He
it.
was he went to Arizona.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, like your uncle Shaq Robert Nelson played like 5 seasons in the NFL,
Yeah,
something like that, and yeah, that's
he went to Arizona State. He came in rookie year at the Browns. He was a tryout just like me. He made the 53. He played the whole year, and then I think the next year he was there. He ended up getting released. He was with the Cardinals, and we kind of got like the same story, even from college. My freshman year, I was at South Dakota State. He was at Louisiana Monroe. He did 2 years there. Some events happened, and then I think he ended up getting kicked off the team. And he transferred to Arizona State, and he played there for 2 years. And then while he was there, I moved out there with him in my end of my junior year, and that's why I really learned like my work ethic, like how to really separate yourself. Because he never really had the height. He was small. He like 5'10", 5'9".
very small.
He was undersized, but he'll outwork everybody. He was the hardest worker in the room. He was fast, ball skills, quick. He just it'll be times where we was out there. It'll be two in the morning. Hey, let's go work out. Let's go hit the mountain. Like I was right there with him. We struggled together. Uh, we were sleeping on floors, couches, whatever the case may be. Struggling to make ends meet. He was a college athlete taking care of a teenager. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. I was really, and then once he went to the league, I was out there on my own. So
In
like,
Phoenix.
yeah, I was out there. I really been when I moved out there with him, I was on my own since I was like 16.
Yeah,
I
because
had
okay, so
I
so
had
you grew up in Lakeland, near Orlando, and then you went out there with uh with
I, I, I grew up I'm from Lakeland. I moved to Atlanta.
okay.
I lived there before I went to Arizona. I was in Atlanta, and that's when I had stopped playing football, and I wasn't really doing nothing. I was getting on the wrong path, whatever. But me and him, I looked up to him because he was doing something a lot of people in my family wasn't doing, never got that far. So, and he was like a big brother to me. So, I just felt like I had a better chance of, becoming someone, having a better future, going out there and taking a risk, living with him. I think he was 23. He was like 23. I was 16, I believe, or 16, 17. Went out there with him. I had to catch the bus to school like an hour away. It was so much, man.
Yeah.
It really made me like, into who I am today. Like being that young, having to take care of yourself, it molds you into, when you face obstacles, it's easier to get through them because you didn't face harder obstacles when you was young. So living out there with him, then he went to the NFL. I was out there by myself, my senior year of high school, living on my own. Uh,
Crazy. That's insane. It's like
yeah,
you couldn't have expected that to happen.
man, I was living on my own. I had a roommate, me and my home, but he was in college. It was us two living on our own. I didn't have a car. I was riding a bike to school. I was riding a bike to work to the
Phoenix
park.
is not an easy place to be without a car too. Phoenix is very spread out.
Yeah, I was in between like Tempe and I was in Scottsdale. I was kind of in those areas, but yeah, it wasn't hard. But a lot of people looked out though. Shout out to the people who did looked out in the time they brought me in and cared for me like I was one of their own. So that really molded me to the person I am today.
Did you I mean, did you feel like watching like your uncle go from like being like undrafted to playing 4 or 5 years, so carving a career out of like just when he didn't have like when like his chances were low? Did you feel like that gave you hope to be like I can like be in the league too, like I can for sure make the NFL?
Man, hell yeah! Like even with playing Division 1 college football, like nobody growing up, nobody would have ever told me that. Like, who would have ever thought? Like, even when I was young, like before I started playing sports, I had my bad asthma. My asthma was so severe that they said I would never be able to play sports.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was bad like that. But as I got older, I think I think I was maybe like in fourth grade or something. I just got in. I was playing basketball. I started playing basketball. I wanted to be a basketball player because of Allen Iverson and because of my uncle. That's what I wanted to do. But growing up, I played football like with my peers, like in the grass or whatever the case may be. So I got into it like that, and I just started playing football. I was playing all the way up to middle school. My freshman and sophomore year, I didn't even play football. I don't think a lot of people know that. I didn't even play football my freshman and sophomore year.
What did you play?
I didn't play nothing. I was
Oh,
just
you were just a student.
man, I was just whatever, like just going with doing whatever. And then I kind of like a lot of stuff was going on. I had to really like sit back and think like, you running out of time. So that's when I made that move. I was talking to my uncle and everything. A lot of stuff was going on, and then yeah, that happened. But growing up, man, I ain't nobody would ever thought that I would be in the NFL. Like
Crazy.
it's crazy.
What were your parents like? What was your parents' reaction when you're like, I'm gonna go move out to Arizona?
Well, I lived with my mom. I ain't lived with my dad. But my mom didn't want to let me go. Like it was a lot going on, but she didn't understand at the time. But I knew, like me and my uncle, he did it. Like he transferred. He went to live with. He moved with somebody else in order to play football in high school. So he know what it was like. He know what could happen. So I was like, man, I'm willing to take the risk. Like whatever I got to do. It is what it is. Like I'm ready for it. But yeah, my mom, she wasn't letting it fly. Like she was not trying to go for it. But somehow, some way, like I kind of like forced my way. Like I had to do what I had to do. I forced my way to it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that going well.
Yeah, it didn't. It was
I'm like, oh man.
a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happened. Like yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
But
Yeah,
it's like, but if you didn't go, like you would probably not be in the NFL right now.
ain't no telling where I would be or what I would be doing. Like glad I ain't take that route. 'Cause, it's
Yeah, it's good. Now, so you've been in the league for, well, this would be your second season if you were
yeah. This
playing, I guess.
year two.
But
Yeah,
you're on your third team right now,
yeah,
which isn't that crazy. Like a lot of guys like yourself coming undrafted out of college do bounce around. But like
man.
I
That's
feel, but I feel like people don't realize like how many guys are in positions like yours where it's like this team, then they cut you, then it's like this team picks you up and that team cuts you.
yeah. It's like it ain't even. It's more so. It's crazy to me because I mean things could be going well, like but it's the fact that you undrafted. It's a lot that come with that. Once you undrafted forever. So that's always gonna be with you. But yeah, like I mean, it didn't really phase me. Like, 'cause it's like I said, I've been on my own since I was young. I was a kid. So I mean, to me, it was another obstacle. Like I know I could play. I played and made plays in games and everything. So I know that wasn't really a problem with me. That wasn't really a problem to me or whatever. But it just you just got to keep going. Like that's what anything in life. Like it's a business. It's a job. And I'm undrafted. Whatever it is they wanted to put me on practice squad for, however, or they wanted to move on, however whatever the case may be. I can't really be mad at whatever they chose to do because it's a business. So you know, it is what it is. Like you can't get down or whatever. You can't. You just gotta go back to the drawing board. Hey, keep grinding. Hey, just remain. Believe in yourself. That's the that's the biggest thing. Like, long as you believe in yourself, you gonna be straight. Like, that's what I live off of. Like, you know your self worth. You know what you could do. You know what you're capable of. Is like, why stress about it or whatever. Like, just leave it up to God's hands. You know.
Do you feel like once like you're waiting to get drafted, right? You don't get drafted. Do you feel like at that point, like you had blinders on, you're like, I know I'm not drafted, but like I'm gonna make the league regardless?
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, that probably was the worst feeling. Like, going undrafted is one of the worst feelings you would never like want to experience. Like,
It's validation is what it is.
you said it's validation.
Yeah, because like you're searching for like validation from like one team to be like, do you have enough faith in me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, yeah, it's that like, but it kind of messed like when I was the way I thought last year when the process was going on, it messed with me a lot. Like, it was tough, but it was like I'm not the type of person to just give up. I'm not finna go cry about it. Like, it happened. So now I know what I got to do to get myself in the situation for the teams to see what I could do. So once I got my opportunity, I took advantage of it, and I never looked back since. Like, never looked back since. So yeah, it's tough being undrafted, but I be telling my old teammates at KU, man, like, it's not hard. You just got to be ready for when the opportunity presents itself. Like, it's not hard at all.
Do you think you were undrafted because like you played out your senior year, like you played it really well, but do you feel like the issue was that that was your first year that you really played out and like showed like other colleges and teams that like you're here and like you're gonna dominate?
I don't really think that's the issue because it's a lot of players that get drafted off of like one great year. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of I feel like it's a lot of factors that played into it. I don't really know what specifically it was. It was out of my control. I really don't know what it was, but of course, I thought I was worthy enough to get drafted. Like, I had a good year. I put up good numbers. Um, it's a lot that come with it, but that's out of my hands. Um, I did all I could, to be honest. Like, that's why I can't even really be upset or
Yeah.
anything. I gave my all the whole year. Pro day, I took chances. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what it was. I
Yeah.
mean, that might have been it might have been it, but
Sometimes it's just like supply and demand where it's like, you don't get drafted, so the Colts signed you, and then you are sitting here thinking you play really well in like training camp and all that, and you're thinking like there's a good chance I'll make the active roster,
yeah.
but your position just happened to be deeper.
Yeah, and I had got a concussion like in the
Yes,
last
and you got a concussion as well, which is
game
I, that slipped my mind for a second, but
in the last. So I mean, it was a lot, but in the end, I feel like I was in the everything happened for a reason because once I took the settlement and I came back, I played. As soon as I came back, I was active the whole year. So I mean, I can't even really complain. Like, I feel like they believed in me. I went out there and I made plays for them. I did what they asked me to do. Um, and I don't know what else I could have, done. But I feel like I always will have a solid relationship with those guys. I feel like they really like me, but some things are out of my control. Some things I can't control. So it is what it is.
so that's a really healthy mindset though, is to be like
I mean, I can't.
like I did what I could do. Now it's up to them.
Yeah, like, you can't. You always gotta control what you can control. Like, if it's out of your hands, there's nothing you can do about it. As long as you go out there and give effort. What else can you ask yourself to do if you gave it all? What else can you do?
What are your thoughts on the NFL like this year, like with the social justice stuff they're doing? Because obviously in the past, like the NFL has just been known like as a league that doesn't do anything on that end.
Yeah.
And this year they're starting to adopt it. So like, are you happy with what they're doing? Do you think they're doing enough? Do you think they're like not doing?
Um, yeah, I for sure feel like, they're using their platform the right way to spread awareness, to people who may have not even, I guess, like seen it from different perspectives or viewpoints. Like I feel like they're doing a good thing for sure. Um, it's not really much you can ask from, for them. I mean, they still have a whole season to play. They got to worry about things in the NFL and stuff like that. But as far as what they're doing now, yeah, I feel like they're using their platform to spread awareness. To spread the knowledge and everything of what's going on, what's really going on behind the scenes and stuff like that, in ways that they can try to help. Better things. I feel like they're doing a good job at that.
I was reading an article recently from I think Yahoo Sports where they were talking like where they basically just saying that the NFL has a new like ratings issue because like they're definitely doing the right stuff with social justice, but they're losing a lot of fans that are just kind of like those like stick to sports fans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like I'm kind of curious about seeing how the NFL responds to that because like they're not going to stop doing social justice stuff, but they do want to keep those fans.
I feel like I feel like this year really exposed a lot of people's true feelings about certain things.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
so I mean that's what comes with it. Like, some people gonna like it, some people gonna hate it. Like, I mean, it's and they can't be NFL can't be, one sided and just go with the people who feel this type of way. In the end, they trying to, do what's right in their eyes, and a lot of people not gonna agree with it. I mean, that's just like with whatever decisions you making in life. A lot of people, they'll agree with it. Some people will hate it, and it's just what it's gonna be. But I know for a fact that everybody's not gonna stop watching NFL games.
Well, not everyone. I mean, I think the NFL's concern is more like that. They're like, if enough people stop watching, then like our ratings drop, then like our advertisers drop out, and then the business side kicks in.
I
And
feel like I feel like
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't. I mean, we're only in week 2, so like,
I
who,
feel like they'll be good regardless. To be honest, like because even when the NBA did that whole thing, it was a lot of hate towards that. But as soon as the NBA came back on, I mean, people was right back watching it again. Like, I mean, if of course people going to have their own opinion towards the messages that's being presented, but they still want to watch football. I mean, I don't feel like it's going to really hurt the sports industry too bad, to be honest. Like, it's just something that needs to be done right now. Like, that needs to be spoken about. Like, it's really no more like hiding it or whatever the case may have been. But everybody have their own opinion. That's what it really come down to. Like, some people gonna like it, some people gonna hate it.
yeah. Now we're just seeing them.
Yeah, now it's
Now just like,
exposed.
oh, you feel okay. You feel that way. You feel that way. Now we just know more. But also like it's I don't know because like there is a lot of similarity with the NBA. However, the difference is that the NBA ever since Adam Silver has been the GM for like 5 or 6 years now, maybe 7, is that he's been like is that players have come to him with I want to talk about this issue and he's kind of let them.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're traditionally with the NFL it was like I know you want to talk about this, but don't. Like just like let's just play football. So I feel like that's the difference. So there's definitely more of a shock. There's more of a shock factor and more of a getting used to, like whatever's going on in the NFL.
Yeah. See, I mean, it's only my second year in the league, so I can only speak on what's really going on right now. Like, I mean, I guess they felt like I guess now was the right time to speak on it.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
but I don't know.
Because people keep on talking about like the wrong, like being on like the wrong and right side of history. It's like they would not be on the right side of history had they done nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Had they swept under the rug, like it would not look good for them.
it's obvious what's wrong and what's right, but a lot of people choose to not see, from other people's perspective. They only choose to see from their perspective of what they learned, growing up or
Yep.
what they learned, in the past, which is kind of selfish. But I mean, everybody can't be, transparent. Like everybody not gonna understand. I mean, the job for like, I feel like the NFL and NBA is like to bring awareness because you got people from every background, coming together to play a sport. Like I feel like, I mean, it has to be, talking about or presented upon, like, to spread awareness so the whole world may can, see things they never thought they've seen, like, until now they recognize what was going on or what's going on.
Yeah, I talked about this in an episode a couple weeks ago with someone, not even an NFL player, or on this podcast, and we were kind of talking about like how you were saying like how some people just don't choose to see things,
Yeah.
and it's like, and you described it as selfish, which is like that. I can see selfish. The way I look at it is like it kind of lacks. It lacks the desire to get uncomfortable, right? Because like you want to stay comfortable, and if you look at someone else's perspective, then you're risking getting uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Plus, there's a little bit of compassion and empathy. I was going to say sympathy, but empathy, where it's like you can't. It's like I can't understand. Like I'm white, you're black. I can't understand your perspective. I can try to understand it better, though.
See, that's what the biggest thing is. Like a lot of people don't even want to try. You
Yep,
feel like
and that's all it takes. All it takes is listening.
that's it. That's all it takes. But everybody not open minded like that. Man, everybody ain't.
It's hard to be open minded. I mean, it's like for some people it's easy, but for some people it's really quite difficult to be open minded.
Yeah, for sure, sure.
And that's like, so no matter what they see on TV, no matter how bad it gets, they're sticking their guns. Like
Yeah,
they think one way.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's
we all have those people in our lives.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll it's only week 2, so we'll see the rest of the season here,
Yeah,
and
for
kind
sure.
of maybe it'll even out. Maybe the ratings will just go back up.
I didn't even know they was down. To be honest with you.
I
I,
mean, they weren't like down, but like the NFL is they're in a mode right now where they're like trying to figure out like how do we. If I was like the NFL, I would look at it 2 ways. If I worked for them, I would say we may lose these fans, but we have an opportunity to also gain fans.
yeah, yeah, that's
Kind of
real.
like Nike, when Nike
Yeah.
dropped, or when Nike brought Kaepernick onto one of their campaigns, they lost they lost like consumers, but they gained a lot more consumers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always 2 sides to that coin, I feel like, and
Facts.
we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, there's really no way of knowing.
I urge, people to go out there and learn how to build wealth. It's real easy. It's not hard. All you gotta do is invest your time. Take an hour out the day. People ain't doing nothing besides watching Netflix shows or on social media. Take 30 minutes or an hour and learn a new skill or something that you don't know about. Like it's real simple.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I want to like. I guess when I get out the league or whatever, whenever that time may be, I want to educate like the younger generation. Like it's more to it than just sports and entertainment. Like yeah, that's gonna always be there. But I mean, like my goal is to really pass wealth down, to my kids, like just throughout my family, because I didn't grow up with wealth, passed down to me. So now that I got like the opportunity with, my platform and the knowledge I'm learning, uh, I want to pass that knowledge down to, the younger generation. And not even just the younger generation, just people who are willing to learn about it in general.
Yeah. Sometimes they may be the older generation even.
Yeah.
That's the real truth. Well, Shaq, thank you so much for coming on and being my guest today.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no, I will then. I appreciate you coming on. This has been episode 5 of Bothering Strangers. And my guest has been Shaq Taylor, cornerback for the New York Giants, and we will probably see him play in just one season from now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you and stay safe.
All right. Thank you. You too.